another little episode of Whitebeard's Kitchen. What I'm going to try and do is a beef Bhuna Gosht. Very aromatic spices in it. I have just toasted. It's actually called Punch Poron or Poron. I don't actually have it. You can buy this in packet, but you can make your own. I have added 2 teaspoons of Fenugreek Seed, 2 teaspoons of Fennel Seed, 2 teaspoons of Nigella Seed, 2 teaspoons of Coriander Seed, and 2 teaspoons of cumin. I've just toasted these seeds. I'm going to bash these down just in the pestle and mortar. These will be added as part of the spice. Okay folks, so what I have is roughly about 3 to 4 tablespoons of mustard oil. It says on mustard oil for external use only, but watching some of the Indian chefs that I've watched, as they have said, there's been millions of Bengalis walking the earth that use this regularly in cooking, and it hasn't killed any of them yet. I was reading the bottle. I've never used it before, and it says it can be used as a massage oil. I don't think so, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just more onion in. Say hello.
Hello guys.
Right, so this is my stepdaughter, God help her, she's cooking pasta, she's off to work this evening, works with young people, so who have been potentially homeless at one point, so that's her job. So she'll be leaving very shortly, God help her, on from 7 o'clock this evening to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So rather her than me. Been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, never again. So getting the oil to heat up a little bit more. What I have probably is a bit more onion. So this for this beef Bhuna Gosht than normal. But it'll all being well kind of break down when it cooks. So I've kind of got it on a high heat. Just want to colour the onion. So rather than bore you to death with this, once the onion is coloured a bit, what I'll do is I'll add some other ingredients. While the onions are cooking, and this isn't necessary to do, I did this earlier on today, so I'm using roughly about 800 kilograms of diced beef. Let's hope it doesn't take as long as my last homemade curry to cook. But anyhow, so what I did was I added 3 tablespoonfuls of Greek full-fat yogurt. I added in roughly about a teaspoon and a quarter of ordinary chili powder. Normally it would go into the pot, but I've added the chili powder just to marinate with the chicken, and just a half teaspoon of salt. So just to show you that this will be going in very shortly at some stage. Okay, so the onions are cooking away vigorously, as you can see. I'm going to eyeball 2 tablespoonfuls of salt. There we are, just going in. That will hopefully help soften the onions up a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some garlic and chilli that I have finely chopped. I could have made this into a paste, but I didn't bother. Surprise, surprise. Being a bit lazy. So I like my garlic. So I'm going to say there's probably about 8 teaspoons of garlic, and the same of ginger going in here. You can cut back in this for sure. So moving just from a high heat, I'm just going to put it into just a medium. I just want the garlic kind of just to brown ever so slightly. Don't want to burn it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in 2 very large green chilies. I'm not going to make this overly spicy. And it isn't really an overly spicy dish, to be perfectly honest. And shouldn't be. So get those in, give those a bit of boil. And I would be putting in 1 teaspoon of chili powder, but I'm not going to add that in because it is in already with the marinated chicken. But I have some other dried spices that will go in very shortly. Oh, what I have forgotten in my haste, I should have added this in before the onion, but I can add it in now. Hopefully it'll not make much of a difference. So is 2 pieces of cassia bark or cinnamon stick, a couple of bay leaves. I have 4 green cardamom pods, about 4 cloves, 4 whole cloves, and about 6 black peppercorns. I should have added those in, as I say. And cook those first, with the oil, before I put the onion in, but I haven't. But because this dish is going to take a while to cook, with the beef. Thank goodness, hopefully it'll not make much of a difference. So there we go, lesson learned. Anyway, the joys of home cooking. Right, so now what I'm going to do is add in about 3 good, reasonably sized, medium sized tomatoes. Hold a few bits back for my good old self. Of course, I'm starting munching as usual. So get those in. And already by adding those the sort of it's a Bengali garam masala, the cinnamon stick, cassia bark, whatever you want to call it, the bay leaves, the cloves, the cardamom pods, you can certainly smell a nice aroma already. Apologies, I didn't do this, but I hope. Normally I would, just simply forgot. But it's in now. So what I'm going to do now is I have, you could use green pepper, so I have roughly about half of a small red pepper and about 3/4 of a orange pepper going in, orange pepper, capsicum in Australia, bell pepper, United States, good old UK. Anyway folks, I'm going to allow this to continue just to cook. I'm going to keep it on a medium to low heat. I'm just going to put the lid on it, just going to add a tiny taste of water, just about half a cup, maybe less. What I'll do is put the lid on, let the tomatoes soften and the onions are getting soft anyhow. So I'll be back probably, I'll just keep an eye on this, make sure it doesn't burn. Put it on to a medium to high heat. So just checking on the onion, the tomato, and it's nicely softened. So what I'm going to do now is put the beef in. Move my little spoon out of the road and get this all in. As I say, the yogurt again generally goes in not marinated. It goes in with shortly after. But I've marinated this beef. I will put a bit more yogurt in to it for sure. I'm going to put this up to a high heat and what I call Bhuna the beef. Keep them stirring round. And there will be liquid, obviously, will come out of the beef. There is some fat on the beef, not a lot, but at least there's some, which is a good thing. I'll now take you to somebody that I watch on YouTube, Sam the Cooking Guy. He's Canadian, lives though in the States, and as he say, fat means flavour. Okay, so this is bubbling away, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to heap teaspoon, so or a quarter, nice earthy flavour. I'm going to take the lid off just to reduce some of the liquid, keep it on a high heat though. Probably in about 15 minutes time, hopefully this will have reduced a bit. And then I will add in the Punch Poron or the Bangladeshi mix. The Punch Poron, as I say, which is Fennel Seeds, Fenugreek Seeds, Nigella Seeds, Cumin Seeds, and black mustard seeds, which I've used. If you haven't got black mustard seeds, I'm sure you could use brown, or you could use probably the more common yellow, with all those spices incorporated into the beef. So as I say, I'm going to let that bubble just for a while on a high heat, this time without the lid on. So what I'm going to do now is add in a heaped teaspoon of the Punch Poron. So as you can see, the meat is burning in nicely. So what I will do, I think, obviously this is getting it slightly thicker, which is great, burning in the meat, but I will obviously add water to this and turn it down then to a medium heat with the lid on, and let that cook probably for a good half hour, but I'll come back to it from time to time, see if I need to add more water, and I am going to add more yogurt in. I'll add maybe the yogurt in there actually, and then add the water in. So Hopefully that will ensure that the yogurt doesn't split. So it's 1, 2, and it's probably a bit more than, probably about 4 teaspoons. And yes, I did lick the spoon. I'll not be adding any more yogurt in. My old usual, getting back into my bad habits. That's absolutely looking wonderful. The smell of this is so super. Really aromatic. There is a bit of a spice to it, but I don't think overly spiced. So now to add some water in. I'll add maybe 2 cups in. That's 1, 2. I'll leave this on medium to high heat, and I'll come back and check it from time to time, make sure there's nothing sticking to the bottom of the pan, and also some of the liquid evaporates, and I need more water to make sure the beef's cooked. I'll do so. Okay folks, so lid going on. First of all, turn this just slightly down a bit to medium high, and that's me. We'll come back to it probably in about half an hour. Okay folks, so I've just checked the beef, give it a good stir, a wee bit sticking to the bottom, thank goodness not burning. Need to keep my eye on it a bit more, so I've added in probably about another 1.5 cups of water. It's probably going to take at least another good 40 minutes or so. I still have it in medium to medium high, but I will keep an eye on it. Lid back on and just let it cook away. So folks, the little beef Bhuna Gosht is cooking away. I added in probably about another teaspoon of the Punch Poron mix. I just tasted it. There is a wee small bit of a kick, but you don't get it until it gets at the back of the throat. But it's not overly spicy, and it's quite a really nice savoury dish for sure. So you can see maybe some of the oil coming to the top, obviously from the spices, and also oil from the beef. And thank goodness the yogurt hasn't split. It's going to probably have to cook at least for another 40. I've turned it up to back up to medium high again. And I will just keep an eye on it, and obviously give it a good stir from time to time, make sure nothing sticks at the bottom. But absolutely wonderful aromas coming from it. I look forward to this, and hopefully the good folk here in the house will as well. Otherwise they'll be eating bread and butter, and I'll have this all to myself. Okay folks, so it's drying up a wee bit too much. So what I've done is, I added actually another 2 to 3 tablespoons of yogurt, just to try and, to thicken it, and that has thickened it for sure. It's definitely tenderising the beef, so that's why I put another bit in. Probably not traditional, but hey ho. And I've added just some more water. I've now blasted it up to a high heat, so I'm hoping maybe in the next 20-25 minutes or so this should be near ready. But I'll just keep checking it so nothing sticks to the bottom now that I have it up on a high heat. Right folks, well, I have been able to break a nice piece of the beef. So beef is cooked. I'm just going to let this reduce ever so slightly. I can see, as I said earlier on, the oil coming up, so I know that that's the curry done. Was just waiting on the beef. Well, there we are folks, a beef Bhuna Gosht. It's ready, just now waiting on the rice to do, but this will be served. This is what it's looking like in the pot. The beef is pretty tender. It has taken away, and to be honest, I myself could probably cook this curry in the oven. I'm just doing it on the stove top so you can see it. Again, I would let that probably cook for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, just simply because, I've used a cheap cut of beef, however, once you cook it down and cook it relatively slowly, and this has been, I know it's been on a medium to high heat throughout, but in the oven, obviously the oven's a bit warmer, I think, normally than the stove top. I was near going to say desktop. No, that's computers. Let's forget about work. I'm finished. I don't work on a Friday any longer, thank goodness. But however, so that's it ready, and we'll go out once the rice is ready. Here we are folks, this is my beef Bhuna Gosht on a plate along with rice, just plain boiled rice. I have got the folks at home to taste this, so Jesse, my other stepson, is over from England, so what do you call it, so he's giving it the thumbs up. Charlie, right, which is great, there we are, so he's just giving me the thumbs up now, pity I hadn't got him on camera. He's even standing up eating it, so that says something. So I will obviously now taste it, my good self. Now my turn to have a little taste. I have to say, this is absolutely delicious. Yeah, I know I added a bit more yogurt in. earlier. It's a slightly bit salty. That's probably maybe because I put a little bit of extra salt in. It's absolutely super. You can taste definitely that Punch Poron mix coming through. There's a bit of a kick to it. Slightly spicy, not overly spicy, really savoury, really tasty dish. I would definitely recommend having this. So, without further ado, I'm going to munch mine. See you soon. Have a good evening. Rock on. Try it.